Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Chestnut channel. Thanks for being with us again. With me today is my good friend Katie Vaudrain. She was with us in May, I think, on the Chestnut channel, just pre a few of the big events around here, and she's been off since then to New York State and Alaska last year, both. She's based in New England in Massachusetts, and that's how we first met. And she's going all kinds of places since then. She's quite involved in a lot of things locally as well, which is what we plan to cover today. Welcome, Katie. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me on again. I really appreciate it. I mean, any opportunity to talk about the Scottish Highland Games, and I'm in.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. I thought we'd catch up, and have a little breather of a time, at least as athletics go, according to me. So last year was quite a busy one for you.
Oh yeah, yep. I believe at the end of the season was a total of 16 games that I did over the summer.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Yep, a lot of miles, sky miles and tire miles racked
Right.
up.
Yep. Yeah, so we talked on the run up to the No Fame Games. I know it was in June, so I think we talked in May,
hmm
just before the No Fames, I think it was, which was quite a great day.
Yeah,
And then you went off to New York State after that, I think, was it? Um,
yeah. It's hard
right.
keeping the dates all aligned,
That's
but
okay. Yep.
but yeah, there's a couple of great events that happen in New York. The Empire Throwing Club, headed by Mac Dillman,
Yep.
they do a lot of great events out there, and I was grateful to be able to attend a couple of them this past season.
Yeah, they're a very vibrant group and very involved in a lot of things, involved in a lot of the, well, not revolution, but changes that are going on, and a lot of
Sure.
the data collection and
Mm-hmm.
all that end of it. I know there's a
Yeah.
lot of talk about that back and forth in a lot of the Facebook groups. I've been watching some of that. I don't understand a lot of it, but that's why I have people
Yeah.
like you around to get in here and talk about it a little bit. But they have three or four things in New York that they run, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. And they're also, Mac is very involved in getting new people on the field. And so
Oh,
he's got a series of training videos that he's posted online that, you could look up on YouTube. There's been both from the Empire Throwing Group and, No Fame hosting a clinic this past year. More opportunities for people to kind of get their feet wet before doing their first competition. So it's been really nice to see kind of that gate opening because sometimes it can be intimidating. I know we're out there throwing rocks and logs and all of that.
yeah,
And so most other sports, you have a chance to practice before you compete. And so I think in New England, there have been more opportunities for that.
right. And most sports, I should say, are, well, maybe school-based or, childhood-based a lot more than these are, where it's
Yeah.
something you probably have done before, or at least seen done quite a bit. And that's just a lot of times it's just not the case with this stuff, Katie.
Yeah. That's the truth of it.
Yeah, like you say, a little bit of a tough nut to crack at first, but as long as
Yeah.
someone's there with their hand extended to shake yours on the field or on Facebook first, which is how this runs now, which is really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Hand extended to shake or to put a 56-pound weight in it, one or the other.
Right. Yeah, I see so many times online that, someone will say, I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure what to do though, this or that. And everyone's like, yeah, just meet us there. Just come on down, and it's great to
hmm
see that those connections happen. People are thrilled just as much as they are to have someone welcome them. They're thrilled to welcome people.
Yeah. And it's great to be a part of something where healthy risks are rewarded. You have to decide if you're somebody who's interested in getting started, you have to extend that curiosity out into whether it's the internet or reaching out to somebody whose information got passed along. And
Yeah.
so it's really nice to be able to meet that enthusiasm with kind of a game plan of, let's practice, let's get together, here's the list of competitions. And it's so inviting, it's so open and welcoming. So,
Yep. And I know it's getting a lot of people that are, well, not Scottish nowadays too, which is important.
yeah.
Um, Important that they figure that out, even though it has the title of it a lot of times, the Scottish Heavies or this or that.
hmm
A lot of crossover people now because there are a lot of similar uh, sports and pursuits these days.
Right.
which really come into the play of, well, of training for this or that. A lot of meshing going on,
Yeah. Yeah.
and with that, a lot of different types of people and from different walks of life and all that, which is nice.
Yeah. And speaking of inclusivity, as far as the classes go, right? We've got adaptive classes,
Yep.
for
Oh,
our
right.
adaptive athletes, and then, age range, weight range, it's not a one size fits all sort of hobby. We really could kind of meet you where you're at and provide, a great opportunity regardless of what you're saying, your walk of life.
Yeah, it's really coming out of the corner of the field, you might say, where, in my experience, that's sort of how it was to me for a lot of years at the Highland Games. You know, what's going on over there? What the heck are those people up to in the corner over there? They're being safe away from us, I know, but
Yeah.
what are they doing, you know? And it's really
Mhm.
opening up and coming to the forefront. It was stored away for safety reasons, I suppose, or
Mm.
maybe just where how the fields work and how certain venues run. They have to be. I know that in a pocket somewhere.
Right.
But the involvement of all the crowds and all the people and the hype and everything leading up and after is really cool. It's really amazing now.
I think, the idea that it is part of the entertainment, uh,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
but it's entertainment with an invitation now. It's, isn't if this looks interesting to you, then by all means, come meet us for the next one. So I think the advent of social media had a lot to do with that. I think, just new different people getting involved and sharing ideas with the people who have been involved for so many years and respecting those traditions and um, those pathways that existed before, but kind of refreshing it in a way so that it can be more easily accessed by people because it doesn't survive unless we continue to garner interest in it.
Right. Yeah. The term backyarder has always been something. Well, a certain amount of people know something's going to happen on a certain day. It's always been that way, I think, and certain amount of people would meet there and do whatever they're going to do. But these days, it seems the backyard, or maybe tell me if I'm wrong, but it's creeping into the Highland Games day now. I'm not sure what to say. It's just like I say, that hand is coming out and welcoming everybody in a much different way now. There's like a hybrid between a backyarder and a Highland Games now, probably, right? A few clinic days are here or there. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
is it the show and throw, or is that what I'm saying? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, no, you're doing great with the jargon. There's so
Okay.
much of it, and it keeps growing and changing, right?
Oh, cool.
Um,
Yeah.
So, in its purest form, the Highland Games were backyarders, right? They were show and throw events where it was here's what's happening, here's the day it's happening,
Okay.
and if you want to do it, here's the registration fee. And that goes so far as even a lot of events that happen in Scotland still are, it's happening on this day. And if you're interested, you reach out and you can sign up, and I know there's been a lot of movement in women's athletics over in Scotland now. But, prior to more modern times, maybe within the last 5 years or so, if you were a woman and you went to Scotland to compete, you could sign up, but you had to throw the men's weights. So the
Okay.
notion of the more, I guess, like elite events that involve like invitations and all that
Yep.
are a smaller percentage of the Highland Games that happen. They're incredibly important. They give other athletes something to strive for. But if you're just looking numerically at the types of events that happen, the majority of them that do are here's the date, here's the time, here's who you talk to if you want to do it.
Yep.
It was just the matter of people not knowing it was that easy to do.
Sure. Just a matter of not opening your mouth. All right. You know, like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no questions or crazy questions. And that's as long as that's the kind of atmosphere they walk into, then that's great. That's how you started down in Rhode Island, I think it was.
that's right.
Um, which is some people you still know, and there's so many legends in this thing that have come and
Hmm.
gone and come up through the ranks and taking people under their wings and then halfway through that person's career they'll take another person under their wing, and that's how this is starting to happen. I think it's probably always been this way. It's just that I'm starting to learn about it and it's starting to come to the forefront in social media and things too, which is helping this happen, inflating it quite a bit, I think.
Yeah, well, you have a forum. There's a place for discourse, and even if you're not looking for it, in the past when we were using the site, that NASGA website that you may have seen trickle
Yeah,
through in some of the conversations, there was,
sure.
a discussion board there, and if you were somebody who was interested in the Highland Games, and somebody told you about this discussion board on this website, you could go and click around and see what people are talking about. However, those of us who maybe just enjoy Scottish culture and maybe like or follow different pages on our own social media, you can just scroll down on your page and you'll come across these discussion posts between people on the topic without having to know a particular website or where to click on the website. It's
Okay.
populating in your feed, if it's something even that you're tangentially interested in. If you've ever liked a post by No Fame, then you might be seeing some of the discussions that come up. And so I think that while I have some issues with technology to a certain degree, I am grateful for how it has really opened up the net, of networking.
There was just some kind of thing that No Fame put out the other day about a guide to sponsors and what sponsors are and what's expected of them and what they should expect uh from an event and that kind of thing, which I thought was pretty neat.
Yeah,
And everything out there in the open, that's the new to me, that seems like a new thing with all this, and it's fantastic. It really is.
yeah. I think it's excellent too because that's one version of what one organization is looking for. And then even within New England, you have somebody like Robert Sims who hosts primarily that backyard, open registration style game.
Yeah.
And what he's looking for in a sponsorship might be different. And I think it's kind of this beautiful crossover of the Scottish tradition, but like a very American way of, every person can do it their own way, and we all can respect each other. And if you want to go somewhere and have a kind of a big show, there's places for that. Or if you want to go somewhere and grill hot dogs and throw rocks
Right.
in a field, you can do that. But we're all part of the same family.
Right. Yeah, fantastic. Now, so you were part of a time or two this year of some of these clinic days.
Yes, yes.
Um,
I was really grateful to be asked to be a part of it. When I'm not throwing things, I'm teaching children. So it kind of seemed like a great crossover of the things I'm interested in.
right.
And to be able to, even for my own practice, to be thinking critically about, what are the steps to a weight throw. And so for the clinic, there was a stone throw station, there was a weight throw station. um, and I'm not sure if we ended up getting to Caber or not on that particular day. But Ron Ramika, who's based out of Connecticut, who's actually
Okay.
my strength and conditioning coach, and has been a longtime Highland Games athlete, was navigating the stone throw.
Right.
He coaches track also, so he's got a background in that. And then I was over at the weight station, and we were kind of cycling groups through just to get some of the basic motions down. Um,
Nice.
and it was really well attended. People seemed,
Excuse me.
seemed grateful for the opportunity, and then men and women, and then I think there were a couple of juniors who were there, um, just to give it a try.
Right. Yeah, Ronnie's a great guy. He's on the channel with me here also last spring, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Where did they hold these clinics, Katie?
This particular one was in Milford, Massachusetts,
Oh,
the
it was.
same
Okay.
field where the No Fame Games was happening.
Okay, yeah.
Um, but I do know as well, I haven't been able to join, but I know that the Empire Throwing Club also will do clinics from time to time. So if you're more in the New York area, there's something a bit of a closer drive for you there.
I bet it did help you out personally. I can see where maybe you break things down to steps and parts where you never might have done that on your own, just sat there in the field by yourself and did that. You probably wouldn't have. But in order to do it for someone else's benefit, I could see where you might say to yourself, yeah, no kidding. Why didn't I do that or think of that before? Quite beneficial to the teacher as well.
Yes. What is it they say about good teachers never stop learning?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it you you taught the women and Ron the men, or was it not necessarily?
No, so it was he taught the stone and I taught the weight. And
Oh yeah.
so when it was the men's group, their turn to come over for the weight,
Yeah.
we did it. They just I was using the women's weight to demonstrate, but the women and the men do have some crossover in the weights for distance. With my heavyweight, which is 28 pounds, is the men's lightweight. So even with me using a 28-pound to demonstrate, that's an implement that they would actually be using on the field at some point as well.
Okay.
Um, so they were able to get some practice in on really kind of just the how to get started and how to have you throw the weight instead of the weight throw you, which is it's tough. It's a tough learning curve.
Yeah, I can imagine it really wants to take you with it, huh?
Oh, it sure does.
You better let go. You better let go, or you're going with it.
I've got far too many blooper reels of training videos of where I thought I'd be standing up and all of a sudden I'm not.
Ah, oh my gosh. So let's talk about a couple of your travels that last year, if you can. Um,
Sure. So Alaska hosts two Highland Games every summer.
okay.
They're both in June, and they're sequential weekends. So there's one in Palmer, Alaska, which is not far from Anchorage, and that's a really big event. So as we were kind of talking, the distinguishing between, um, you've got your big shows and then you've got your backyarders.
Yeah.
So the big show in Palmer this year, they were actually hosting the Women's World Championships, and I wasn't a part
Ah,
of that event. I was competing in the women's A class, but we were sharing the field with the pro like most elite of the elite. We're talking like you top 10 women. Um, Megan McKee ended up winning the day.
oh
I
yeah,
believe it was her either third or fourth time world champion.
no doubt.
And there's
Yeah.
only one person who's ahead of her. And we'll see how long that stands because Megan's a force.
Right.
But a huge event, multi-day event, and you are just in a valley surrounded by snow-capped mountains. It is idyllic beyond belief. And there's something that I swear that the bagpipe music carries different in the mountain air, you know.
Oh yeah, I bet.
But it was an incredible event. Like I said, they had multiple classes for the women, multiple classes for the men. Primarily in New England, we'll have either just an amateur or open class, and then at some events a professional class, and then you have your masters, 40 plus athletes.
Yes.
Comparatively in Alaska, they had the pro woman, they had woman A level, woman B level, woman C level, and then same for the men, A, B, and C levels,
Oh,
which is incredible to have that many athletes to fill that many classes. But I think it keeps people coming back because you're very easily grouped with similarly skilled people. So it's just kind of the right fit to push you to, throw that extra couple of inches, and kind of be neck and neck with your competitors.
right. So the Bs eventually become into the C group and like that, have somewhere to maybe that gives you a little bit of a horizon, somewhere to go that you wouldn't have normally.
Right, absolutely.
Um,
And the athletic director there, Jenny, is incredible. She really makes an equitable experience for all of the athletes. The featured class this year was the pro women. That was the world championships for them. But the athletic director had a big beautiful shade tent for all the athletes, snacks for all the athletes. It wasn't like there wasn't any sort of segregation. We were just all commingling with each other,
Yep.
which is a really good feeling that, when we're talking about having something to shoot for, if you've got a professional athlete sitting there with you, and they have a minute, you could say, "Hey, if take a look at this throw, like where did I go wrong here?"
Yeah.
And so it's that bringing people together, and caring for the community as a whole. But it was a wonderful day, really really great competition. And again, to each their own. I can understand the allure of exclusiveness in a way,
Yeah.
but I don't really feel like Scottish Highland Games lends itself well to velvet rope. Where uh, salt of the earth type folks.
Yeah. Remember when, right?
Yeah.
Remember when
Mhm.
I was there,
Yeah, exactly.
which is what one of
Uh,
the first things you told me that you remember it in Rhode Island. Everyone said, yeah, sure, show up at this place in Maine or New Hampshire, wherever they told you to in this date. And,
yep. It was that
yeah,
easy. It was, you take that healthy risk, you start a conversation, and you never know where it'll take you. So
yeah, they said, damn, yeah, you can come up. Why not? Yeah, sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
if
didn't
you
need
did,
any,
yeah,
any pedigree, what's your formal training? It's just, nope, here's an address, go buy a kilt.
yeah. I mean, if you said, you know what, I'll wait till next time. We might not be talking now, and
Right, right,
would have been no
exactly.
Alaska.
Right. I would say I have to mention one more thing about Alaska.
Please.
At the Palmer event. One of the my favorite parts of it is a bonus event. So you have your normal, your stones, your weights, hammers. Sorry, no hammers there. But regardless, your normal events. And then if you buy in to the bonus event, they've got this 56-pound rubber salmon, and it was made by a local taxidermy shop. In the photographs, it almost looks real, right? It
Right.
looks incredible. And the challenge is that they set you up. It actually is in the hammer cage. Now remembering they do have the hammer toss there, and for safety, because if you let go of that thing, it's going to hurt somebody. And you can take any sort of approach that you want, whether you want to just try to do a standing throw, or you want to spin, or however you can manage to fling the
Stimulating.
fish as far as you can. And there's a cash prize for whoever throws the fish the
Ah,
furthest. And the laughter, it's so playful. You sometimes can get so into the competition, you're thinking about your numbers and where am I falling in the rankings today, and blah blah blah. And then you strip all of that away and you hand somebody a giant rubber fish and say,
right.
go have fun.
I didn't know where you were going. I was thinking caribou. When you said giant rubber something, I was thinking
Oh yeah.
grizzly. I was going grizzly, caribou,
Yeah, you
salmon.
all in the right umbrella. You're all there.
Right. They grease it first, Katie, or they just
I would have sworn they did, but they promised they didn't. So
the rubber fish, incredible.
yeah.
Anybody go in there down their ass trying that or what?
Uh, mercifully this time around, everybody stayed standing, but the fish didn't always go the direction people wanted it to. Let's say
Right.
that much.
Wouldn't be any fun if it did.
Yeah, that's right.
It's such a local flavor thing, man. It's so fantastic. What a flavor of Alaska while you were there.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, was there some certain cuisine that you've tried up there that you
Yeah, so
enjoyed?
in true Highland Games fashion, I traveled to Alaska last summer as well. I competed at this event last summer, and I
Oh,
got hooked, so I came back.
hmm.
And in my travels last year, I ended up chatting up another athlete, and we hit off a friendship. And so I had met up with him after the competition and a few other friends at a local bar,
Yeah,
and had mentioned that I'd never tried moose. And so his friend said, "Come back here tomorrow." He said, "I've got moose jerky. I'll send you with some salmon and this, that, and the other. And I still have 2 pieces of the moose jerky left. I'm saving it for a special occasion because it was so good.
Really?
It was out of this world. It was like, I hate to equate it to a Slim Jim. It was much better than a Slim Jim, but texture wise, it had a little snap. It had a lot of flavor.
Nice.
I would highly recommend it. So if you ever have a chance to have some good quality moose jerky, I'd say go for it.
Nice. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yep.
All the seafood up there. I think I'd go crazy for the seafood. I
Oh
love
yeah,
the smoked salmon and everything. Oh,
yeah, I did. I had a treat myself moment. I spoiled myself on my last night in Alaska and had a seafood boil, and I had some king crab legs. So that was my, after a good hard weekend of competition,
right.
have a little treat.
Oh, that's it. You got to watch it during though, I guess. Because you don't know eat
Yeah.
some strange thing that you don't know what it's going to do to you in the middle of everything. I can see that.
Oh, I know it. I think there's, and myself and I think a lot of others have very particular foods. You pack your bag and you're like, all right, it's the same. I could do a peanut butter sandwich, some
Oh,
watermelon cubes, you on a game day where you're like, I know that this is the fuel that works for me and I don't
yeah.
mess with it. Except for when you're traveling, that can get a little bit more complicated.
Right, but you want to stay somewhat familiar in your zone and not too many crazy things so your stomach says, "What the hell did you just hit me with?"
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that for sure.
Yep.
Oh, so I'm not sure what's going on for this year yet. I know there's a lot of changes in New England and all. Um,
Yeah.
the main games is changing their venue, for instance, and
Hmm.
I don't know what else will. And they're having. Is it the men's only? These are often separated, right, Katie? I didn't understand that as much, but men's world class competitions will often take place separate from a woman's. That'll be at another event somewhere else, perhaps. So maybe they're just too darn big to do together. For all I know, that could be what it
Sure.
is.
Yeah, a big part of it too is when you're hosting a world championship, um, you really want to have the shine on that group. That's a championship is a big deal. And so if you have 2 of them happening concurrently, you might have to choose, am I going to go over there and watch the men do hammer, or am I going to stay over here
Okay.
and watch the women do sheaf? And
Yep.
so when you're asking people, because people come from all over, globally for
Right.
world championships, if you're
I can
asking
see
them to
that.
make that travel, then you really want to make sure that they have the spotlight.
I can certainly see there's no difference in the splash and the whole huge addition of the thing that goes on, whether it be men or women. I've seen that
Yeah. Yeah.
online. Yeah, they're both an immense occasion. I could see where they shouldn't really be blending together if they can help it.
Yeah.
Um, well, you only have about 5 minutes left, I think, Katie. This has gone so fast, like
I
just
know.
like
I just
that,
saw that little timer pop up. I'm like, oh no.
because it's so darn fun. I guess I don't know. Just went
Yeah, that's
by
what they
so
say.
fast. Oh, so I'll be at a Robert Burns dinner in January. That's on my next event of Scottish culture
Delightful. Well, whereabouts is that?
at Windham, New Hampshire, at the Castleton Inn. That's run by the Scottish Arts New England group, New England
Oh,
Center for
very good.
Scottish Arts.
Hmm.
Uh, and then the games will begin, I suppose, not till May or so around here, but
Yeah.
we didn't get to talk too much about training over the winter time, but maybe we can talk again about it
Sure, sure.
if you like. I know there's probably a lot to do about that goes on behind the scenes that I don't realize.
Certainly.
The field will probably send back a stone right now, right off itself because it's too
Yeah.
hard.
Well, so I actually had gotten an invitation to compete at the Central Florida Highland Games this January coming up.
Oh, okay.
And it was something that was kind of on my radar, but I hadn't heard back yet. So I wasn't getting my hopes up too much.
Yep.
But once I got the green light, I started thinking, I'm like, well, geez, when's the last time I threw? I'm gonna be going down there. And so I got a couple of days of throwing in before the snow came.
Yeah.
But I enviously shake my fist at the competitors over in California, and they're
Right.
posting all their videos. They're practicing hammer with their boot blades and the dirt and all that. And I'm like, oh, well, price
Yep.
you pay for being a New Englander, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, just for reference sake, folks, it was 7 degrees at my house this morning here at the studio. So
Holy
it's
moly.
cold in New England right now.
Yep.
Wherever you're watching from, we're cold now here.
Yeah.
Any field you throw a stone at, it's going to bounce right off right now.
That was one advantage. I was practicing weights and the ground was pretty frozen, and so I didn't have to fill in any divots. So that was good.
Ah, a
Just kind of
shorter
skipped
day.
along the top.
A shorter day then. Yeah, I see that.
Yes.
Well, have a safe trip in January down to Florida.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be a good competition.
Okay, maybe when you get back, you can get back with us and give us a little report. What do you think?
That sounds great. And hopefully I'll be a little bit more tan then.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much, Katie.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'll talk again with you soon.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Touch not.